The first one is Excel for work. Now, this is a very critical foundation course for us. The idea is that even before you get into financial modeling, Power BI, and all that, you need an understanding of how Excel works. In fact, if you understand the whole architecture of Excel, it's very easy to handle the rest of the modules. So if you are joining us here, don't feel intimidated. Okay? We are going to start from a blank sheet. Okay? We are going to start from a blank sheet. We'll walk you through tips and tricks to navigate Excel like a pro. We'll help you improve calculations with effective cell referencing. And you also learn how to use basic math operations. So if you are an Excel user, normally you start off with sum, average, and all that. So after learning how to navigate, you learn how to do proper calculations, and then we go into the functions. In fact, what we are going to do this season that is going to be different is we are going to tie all these topics into a case study. Okay, so there's going to be a case study. Now, so if you see all the various topics are listed here, you go through every line. And we've done it this way so that even if you are practicing on your own at home, it is very easy for you to take it line by line and then execute the activities. Of course, we'll do it in class so that when you go, you can also do it. So in the end, the strategy is that if you go through all the 14 topics, you should be able to complete all the calculations in this Excel workbook and then come up with this dashboard at this level. Okay, so all these topics are here. We've just itemized it line by line to make it easy for you to go through and then learn on your own. So some of the topics will be how to use the basic math operations. You learn how to use the logic function. The logic function, I know most of us know only if, but there's a family of it, if, and, or, not. Okay, we use all that. So I'd like Ernest to briefly talk to us about the lookup topic and what participants would expect from the lookup.
Thank you, Ben. So essentially, data sits everywhere, right? And if we are to analyze data and make some financial decisions, we believe need to look up on all these data, source them from different places. Or in any way that we would deem fit for our analysis. In fact, most of our Excel problems are, and so if you have a hold on lookups, I think you can do. It includes the popular index command, which seems to consider X lookup and the rest. It still stands for. Once you are able to VLOOKUP, you'll be good to. Please, we promise that we'll be able to make it handy for you.
Okay, Ernest, thank you very much. So under the lookup functions, we'll be looking at index match, we'll be looking at HLOOKUP, we'll be looking at VLOOKUP. I know most of you know VLOOKUP, but in this class, we've had an extensive discussion on why VLOOKUP is not the best lookup function.
Hello, Ben.
Yes, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, your line was breaking a bit, but I think it's okay now.
So I was talking about the lookup and why people need to move away from VLOOKUP to index and match. We'll cover all that. So Daniel, can you talk to us about the text functions, please?
Okay, thank you very much, Bernard. So sometimes if you've noticed, data comes in a format that you can't really analyze with. Sometimes you want it in caps, sometimes you want it in other forms that the data doesn't come in. Sometimes you download data and it has comments and all kinds of symbols in it that you don't really need. Text function is a correlation of different functions that help you to put and manipulate data in a form that you can analyze easily with. So we're going to be looking at so many kinds of forms and text functions. We're going to be looking at right, left, so many functions. And this is going to help you to manipulate data, put it in various forms. That is going to help you to analyze them. So don't worry, just expect the best from us when it comes to all these functions. Thank you.
Great. So you will learn how to manipulate and clean up data using text functions. Okay, converting between cases, separating or joining, and all that. So we'll cover some areas on text functions. We'll also be doing a bit of simulation beyond just the functions. We'll learn how to use Excel simulation tools, go seek data tables, solver, to also make decisions. Direnga, can you put some light on this for me?
Yes, Ben, thank you. So like Ben said, situations where you want to simulate different scenarios. Let's say, and so you want to know, okay, if you make this amount of sales or you price your product on your revenue, for example. So if you sell for 132 CD and 50 pesos or CD and 20 pesos, how does your revenue look like? And or if you sell more or less. So sometimes you want to run all these scenarios and
more of this, more of the charts and the dashboards and all. So it will help us tell the story behind each and every line of data that we have sitting in our table, or perhaps sit there in a range. Thank you, Duinga.
Osbert, thanks. Ben is back, but even before he takes over, Prisla is our last baby. She will tell you as the data scientist what else you can expect. Prisla, so over to you. Just share with the participants what they can expect from our Excel for Work.
Okay, so with our Excel for Work course, we'll be doing a lot of data manipulations, how exactly you're going to work in tables, which is very important. And working in tables is not really, it seems simple, but it's not really as simple as it looks. So Excel for Work topic, Excel for Work course will go deeply into that. Some considerations that you need to do. Perhaps you want to summarize your data in tables. You could look at pivot tables, or probably you deal with dates a lot, and so you might need to know how exactly you can manipulate dates in your work. So you look at some various date functions and a lot more exciting things to come.
Thank you, Prisla. Ben, are you back?
Yes, I am. ECG, just one minute, my friend.
Thanks. Over to you. Yeah.
Okay, so that is Excel for Work. This is our foundation course. We are going to allow you to ask questions at the end of this presentation. So please note your questions, and then we'll come in and take them. In season 6, we've introduced Power BI. In fact, for those of us who were with us in season 5, we did analytics using Excel. So if you remember, we were able to build this dashboard, connecting it to different data sources. And then remember, we had this discount, no discount, geomap presentation. We want to build on this Excel knowledge and then transition into Power BI. In fact, Power BI was introduced in 2014-15, and it's been a very powerful tool for data analysis. So if you're already comfortable with Excel and what we covered in season 5, this should be a very smooth transition. Okay, so this analytics session in season 6 is fully Power BI. even though in the first 2 weeks, we are going to transition and then recap some of the topics that we did in Excel. So we'll go through the concepts of getting data, connecting data from different sources. As you can see from here, we'll go through how to transform data. So we are going to build on our Power Query knowledge in season 5, okay, to go through all the cleaning, transformation, and shaping data. Okay, this is a service delivery company. In fact, if you are new, don't panic. We are going to behave as if we didn't treat this in season 5. Okay, so we are going to take it right from scratch, connect the data in Excel, clean it, and then we'll connect and then create relationships among the different tables that we have. So if you're a data analyst or a data modeler or a data scientist, you realize you can't get too far if you don't create relationships. Okay, so we'll learn how to create relationships. We'll learn how to create hierarchies. We'll learn how to connect these. And then what is very, very important is like we'll learn how to create DAX measures. DAX measures are just like the formulas that you see in Excel, but this is more powerful. They are more data analytics inclined, and you can do more with DAX measures. So if you look on the screen, you realize that we have a tall list of DAX measures giving us different results based on the story that we are trying to tell. Okay, so we'll learn how to create DAX measures. And then when we are done creating our DAX measures, we'll go into the part that most of you like, the visualization. And you know, at Finex, we always like presenting things that have not been seen anywhere. So this is a case study visualization. We are not just sticking to just a page of visualization. To give you more, we are going to do a 3-page dashboard, interactive dashboard. So over here, this is the summary that gives you a summary of the financials. And here, you are not just putting charts, you are creating a story. So this is a summary. This is the top 10 products. There's a timeline to see performance every year. Okay. And then you can also drill this by store location. Okay. So we'll learn how to create this custom map. Now, beyond the summary, you should be able to, let's say you're doing a presentation, give further and better particulars on how profit comes about, especially from each store. So this is one of many AI tools that Microsoft will be introducing. We call this the Decomposition Tree, allowing you to drill down based on a certain dimension. So here, when you select a store, you are able to know which, if you select a region, I must say, you are able to know which store is doing well and which product in that store is doing well. That is the kind of story that you'll be telling on this page. It's also driven by your timelines. And then the third page is the KPI page. So in the KPI page, we are going to measure every employee's performance against set targets. So we have revenue targets, cost targets, profit targets, and then the returns target. We also, at every point in time, know the best performing stores. Okay. And then we also learn how to create this summary table that gives us performance of each store last year, their current year-to-date profit, and then the target profit, and their profit margin, and their variance. Okay. So the goal is that when you go through all these topics that we are going to treat in the next 14 Saturdays, you should be able to create something on your own. And in fact, for us, that is the key thing. We don't expect you to create what we've taught you. We want you to take the knowledge and then build your own case studies. If you're on our WhatsApp group, you realize that after each session, people come up with their own versions and all that. And that's what we encourage people to do. So that is the journey for our Power BI class this season. The key things that you need to know is that we'll walk you through the introduction. We'll learn how to connect and shape data. We'll learn how to create relationships and data modeling using table relationships. We'll learn how to calculate with DAX. And then finally, we'll learn how to visualize data in the Power BI report that you just saw. So that is the Power BI module. Again, I would like to encourage you to note your questions. We'll come in and then take your questions on all the presentation shortly. Now, the third module we are going to do is the financial modeling / analysis module. This is very important. Finance Skills Hub is an approved training provider of the Financial Modeling Institute in Canada. Sister company BEST. Over the last 3 years, we've trained over 22 advanced financial modelers. We hope in the next season, all these 22 advanced financial modelers will go on and charter and become chartered financial modelers. We take financial modeling very, very seriously in Finance Skills Hub. But this season, we want to add something more. We don't want to just do the case study that is given us by the Financial Modeling Institute. We want to add something more analysis, something more visual, something more interactive. So we have introduced this new case study of a juice company looking for funding. And we'll walk you through various segments. And even the icing on the cake is how to present all these in a PowerPoint presentation. So let me cut the story short and then hand it over to the team members to walk us through the financial modeling case study.
Okay, thank you. Ben, can you please allow me to share my screen?
You can share your screen.
Okay. So I'll share the case study and then we'll look at it briefly and then I go off and then share the PowerPoint. Okay, so yeah, please introduce the case study to us and then let's pick it up from there.
Yes. Ernest, thanks. Please kindly confirm I'm loud enough.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. I hope all of this can as well.
Yes, we can.
Yes, confirmed.
Yes.
Good. In fact, Ben wanted to cut the story short, but I think he's done a good job introducing the case. Like Bernard said, so over the past few seasons, we've been doing this financial modeling. And this season, we really wanted to do something different beyond just projecting into the future, knowing what is likely to happen in the future and how the numbers look. We want to add meaning. So when we look at sales at $1 million, for example, what does it mean compared to last year? And what kind of insights can we make out of this? So this season is really interesting. Is the story of a juice manufacturing company based in Somania, in Ghana. They are seeking funding to expand their operations, okay? And so they want to reach more people, they want to increase their capacity, and then they are looking for $10 million. And so we have been given some financials that we'll look into and see if this has a business case. Is there anything substantiating their request for this funding? And should we go ahead? If we look at this and then we look at the numbers, we look at the operations, we see all they are doing and we think this is a good opportunity to invest in. How do we structure this deal? What kind of options do we have available for this kind of a deal, So we'll look at the things that you need to actually observe or consider in your analysis. What are the key metrics that you should peg this or you should judge or assess this opportunity against? And then when you reach a decision, what would be best for you and then the investee. So really for the next 14 weeks, this is what you should be expecting, is to be very interactive, because beyond just projecting into the future, we'll be doing a lot of contextual analysis where we look at the company, what they do, and what time should this, is the opportunity, the timing right? Is there anything, what insight can we make in terms of management from the numbers, So there'll be a lot of engagement over the next 14 seasons. And we are really excited. We are looking forward to all of you joining this And whether you are in business or anywhere else, I think this can shape your analytics or your way of looking at opportunities, So again, just to summarize, what you'll be expecting are mainly two things. We'll have the numbers. We'll look at the contextual or the business in its industry and how it's doing. And then we'll look at the numbers based on the financials that have been given to us and draw meaning. And so these financials will be the basis or the starting point of everything.
Okay, exactly. D, I think you've done a good job. So the heart of all the analysis we are going to consider will be on the financial statements of coast dues, right? So we would look at the income statement, seek to understand the income generating capacity of coast dues. We also look at how these income generated feed into the cash flow, to assess the quality of their cash flows. We look at their balance sheet and see the size and capacity the business has got, the leverage they have to take on additional financing, either in terms of debt or equity, or a mix of that. We look at the asset quality, to support their operations and even the facilities they seek. So it's going to be an interesting thing. At the heart of it all, we'll deep dive into it, look at some ratios, and see how we can derive insight from the business to support the kind of decision we want to make. Yeah.
Okay, great. So upon understanding the various elements of the dues company's financial statement, we're going to begin our financial analysis with ratio analysis. All we're going to be doing is that we're going to leverage on the relationship between the various items in the financial statement to determine whether the company is really performing well or not. So through this, we're going to measure the ability of the company to generate profits. We'll be measuring the portion of sales that's actually ending up as profits. We also want to know that how much of sales is going to be used to cater for the operating cost of the business. We also want to know how effective the resources are being used to generate profit. So the resources in this case are the assets of the business, the asset that it controls and it owns. So we'll go further to use something we call the Dupont Ratio, which is essentially a breakdown of another ratio called the return on equities. But most importantly, because the company is looking for debts, looking for financing to increase and expand its current operation capacity, we'll be looking at how well it's managing its working capital. Okay, we have to know how well it's using its day-to-day resources to produce commodities and to be able to service its demand. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be assessing how it's using its available resources to generate profits. So currently, the resources that it has at disposal, how is it using it to generate profits? We also want to know that how quickly they're able to convert the stocks that they're able to produce into sales. Do they make inventories and wait for like 200 days or 300 days before they're able to sell them, or it goes quickly? We need to know all those things. We also want to assess how effectively their existing debt is being managed. Okay, is the company being able to pay its debt with the resources it has at its disposal? Because we are going to give it more resources. And if it can't manage its existing debt, then how sure are we that the company is going to be able to manage our debt, able to pay back our debt that we are investing into the company? So all our analysis will help us know exactly what the current position of the firm is. But then the good thing about ratio is that it doesn't end there. We're going to be using this ratio as the basis of our assumptions for our financial modeling.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. Priscilla, you are okay.
So as Daniel mentioned, the ratio analysis basically gives us an indicator of how well the company is doing at the moment. But the deficiency with ratio analysis is that it's basically looking into the past. So it's working on past financial data that the company has. But really, to be able to get a total overview of the financial strength or the financial ability of the company, you shouldn't just consider past, you should also look into the future. So how well is the company going to do in the future? And in doing that, we really look at the three financial statements that we have. So our income statements, our cash flow, our statements of financial position. What we have to do is basically try and make assumptions around the various items of these statements. So we try to make assumptions around our sales. Are we going to sell the same number? in the same volume of items in the future? Are we going to increase our price? Then our costs. Are our costs going to increase? Are we going to incur more expenditure and buy more raw materials or more items to help us sell? So we really have to look at all these. For our cash flows, are we going to get in more cash or not? For our balance sheets, we look at our assets. Are we going to invest more into assets? So what we really try to do is try and make assumptions, factual assumptions based on the data that we have, like from our ratio analysis, from the information that we have on our ratio analysis. And then we make these assumptions, try and apply these assumptions on the past data that we have to help us really look into the future and say, okay, so in the next 5 years, how are cash flows going to look like? In the next 5 years, how are our sales going to look like? In the next 5 years, how are our costs going to look like? And when we have all this information, we can now make a decision as to whether we are going to invest or not. And that decision, how we make that decision, I think the Winga will take us through how exactly we are going to make that.
Yes, thank you, Priscilla. So we are here. We've understood the financial statements, right? We know the three financial statements, how they speak to each other. We've done all the ratio analysis to see in terms of performance, how is the company doing? Are they being efficient? Are they using their assets well? We've looked at their solvency. Would they be able to service any additional loan? Do they have any existing loan? And then we've projected into the future based on these findings. And then we have an idea how the company is likely to look over the next few years. Now we need to make a decision. All this we've done doesn't tell much. What are the options available? How do we go about this? So here we are really going to dive a bit deeper and then bring things home by looking at all the options that are available to evaluate the risk, right, inherent to this opportunity, and then see the various options. Like I said, should we go with a debt or an equity investment, or should we mix? If we go for a debt, do they have much debt? When should we release the money, because timing is also important. And so we'll look at all these options, we'll look at everything that's available, and then here is going to be a lot of engagement. Based on all we know, are there any further questions we need to ask, and then reach a decision, and then decide how to structure this deal. Once we do this, eventually, there are a lot of people interested in what we've done, the analysis we've done, who don't need to know what the ratio in 2014 or 2015 was. And so you want to summarize this and present to key stakeholders or people who are interested in this information, right? And so the decision we've reached, we'll package this nicely in a nice PowerPoint and present to various users of this analysis.
Okay, so that's all we're going to do. We're going to go through it in such a manner, and then at the end of the day, organize our thoughts and analysis and everything in a PowerPoint and present them. Management do not need to go back end and see all the kind of analysis, but then we need to show them what the decision is and the considerations we made to support those decisions. By so do we also learn a few skills on how to, structure PowerPoint layout. We'll look at how to, get design ideas to do our presentation. We also learn about the slide master, how to use it to make our works a bit easier and faster for us. So this journey is going to be super exciting. A lot of skills, to tap into at this level, and we hope to meet you halfway, even as you also commit to meeting us halfway. Thank you, Ben.
Fantastic. So thank you for this presentation. So for those who just joined us, it's not real learning. We are just introducing the content, the areas that we are going to be going through the next 14 Saturdays. I want to use the next 5 minutes to discuss the platform and how we are going to get this done. As I mentioned earlier, prior to COVID, we were meeting at IAC at the University of Ghana. It's still our venue. God willing, when the university resumes.
A moment, please.
Okay.
I think I saw some people raising their hands. I don't know if
okay, we'll take questions
dropped
shortly.
it. Okay, that's fine. So go ahead.
Yes, we'll take questions shortly. We just want to cover this and then use the next 30 minutes to answer questions. So please note your questions and then we'll address them shortly. Thank you. So we're meeting since 2016. We meet physically, but COVID forced us to be innovative and we realized that online is equally effective. What we've done is that aside this live session that you are looking at, we also have a backup Google Classroom. The classroom that you were invited to is just a preview class. Beyond this Saturday, for those who want to continue the journey with us, we'll send you specific codes to go into the classroom that has the module you want to study. So this is just an example of season 5. So when we are done, those who signed up for all 3 modules will see at least 3 classrooms: Excel for Work, Business Intelligence, and Financial Modeling. The one that you are in currently will be the preview class. You can delete this after. Now, when you go into the Google Classroom, example, I'm taking the Business Intelligence class. When we start every topic, it will be serialized under the classwork. Okay, so last season, we started all the way from the bottom. So week 2, and then we climbed up all the way to week 14. We know that most of us have internet issues. In fact, aside internet, you also have electricity issues. There are also social engagements and all that. We have your back. What we need to do is, what we have done is, after every live session, we will load the playback video. Okay, so the playback video of the Zoom meeting will be uploaded here. So when you go in, you can play it at your own pace and convenience, just as you are viewing us right now. So if you had internet issues, this will not have internet issues. You can take your time, pause it, and slow it down and all that. Aside the video, we'll also give you the workbook and any extra resources that was associated with this topic. The good thing is that when you are watching each topic and you have questions, you can easily post it in the stream. The facilitators are in the classroom with you. Okay, so all of us are here. When you post a question that I didn't understand this thing that Ernest said, Ernest will be alerted, all of us will be alerted, and then we'll come to your aid and then help you out. We also give assignments. We take feedback very, very seriously. So in the financial modeling class last season, they would confirm that there was a lot of assignments to give you that hands-on feel. So in the financial modeling class, there will be assignments for each topic. Okay. We also provide practice videos. So from the live Zoom sessions, you also have practice videos. These are resources that we've gathered to help you further understand each topic. So those who had access to season 5, they still have it. This is a lifetime access. You can always go back and then play it. Okay, but we encourage everybody to be part of the live Zoom session so you can ask questions. But in case you miss it, the classroom is a very valuable backup and resource for you to still continue the learning. Of course, aside the classroom, you are also part of our WhatsApp group. So it is very easy for you to also get hands-on and then share your learning experience. So in general, this is the setup. We'll use Zoom, we'll use Google Classroom, and we'll combine it with our WhatsApp group. God willing, when COVID goes away and Legon resumes, we'll have monthly boot camps so that we can meet physically and also consolidate the learning. So that basically is how we are going to learn. Again, please hold on to your questions. We'll take them shortly. So this is the mode of delivery. We are starting 28th. This is the orientation class. Next week, we'll start the real learning. Class schedules is like this. When we log in next week, we'll do Excel for work. So this is the beginner class. We'll start from a blank sheet from 9 o'clock to 10:30 a.m. Okay, so those who have signed up for Excel for work, please log in on time. We'll do after me, 9 o'clock, 10:30. We are done. We'll take a short break for washroom and all that, and then come back for Power BI at 10:45, and then we'll close at 12. And then those who have signed up for the financial modeling class will come back in the afternoon, and then we'll do 3 to 5. As I've said, if you have any engagement that will keep you away from your class, don't worry. When you come back, the recorded version will be available in the Google Classroom for you to play back. So while we are here, we also want to discuss the cost. So for each module, it's still 1,000 Ghana cedis. Now, we feel this is very, very reasonable, looking at the fact that when people put a lot of teaching in one weekend, they even charge more than this. We are traveling 14 Saturdays, giving you all the support and then the feedback that you need. And then we feel that this is well priced. In fact, if you are not able to pay off, we give you an installment plan. We also have good discounts for national service personnel and students. Okay, so if you have any challenge with payment, you can get back to us backstage and then we can discuss. For those who want to pay off, we also encourage you to pay it one time. You get a further 20% discount, okay, on payment. If you want to do all three, instead of 3,000, you pay 2,500. If you pay, you get 20% discount. And then we are extending the early bird discount till end of month. So if you want to pay by Monday, you can still get the early bird discount, which will be like 40% off. Okay, so that is for pricing. While we conclude, we really appreciate our network of trainees and participants who have even become patrons for us. Our companies that support us, our trainees come from all these companies and more. We also have a very viable student network at the University of Ghana, UGBS and the Cons. And this is us. So these are the people that you just met. Ferdinand is with us. Unfortunately, he lost his father in the last few days, so he wasn't a part of the introduction, but he's here online with us. So this is a very solid team. You realize that even when I dropped off, the thing carried on. That is the kind of team that you have. So everybody has his or her area of strength. And in that pool, we dig in to give you the value that you have signed up for. So this is Finex. Why you should choose us? Ours is a workshop styled with a lot of hands-on practice. You are not just cramming everything into your head in one weekend. No, we space it out so that you can practice and give us feedback. By God's grace, we have a large network of learners. Over 200 have passed through, and they are still providing us feedback. Okay, when we meet at Legon, you get to know people who have passed through, get connections and all that. And that is underlying our slogan. Here we learn, we connect, and we grow. So we appreciate your time. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take your questions. I know most of you have questions. So what we'll do is that you raise your hand and then we will mute you, or you can put your questions in the chat and then we would pick it up. So Kennedy.
Ben, I think it will also be ideal if we can see them, or you don't think it's...
We'll make that setting available next week, but for now, it will be audio.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Hi, Kennedy, you have the mic. If Kennedy is not ready, I see Robert. Robert, please go ahead. You have the mic.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning, Robert.
Okay, so I'm hoping to take all three models, but currently, if I am to go by the schedule you put there, the 9 to 10:30 and then 10:45 up to 5 p.m., I don't think it will be possible for me. So I want to know if I make payment for all three, can I just decide to take the Excel for work and then subsequently I can take the BI and then the financial modeling?
Okay, so if I got your question, you want to pay up for all three and then gradually learn the rest over seasons.
Yes.
Not this particular season. Yes, I mean, ours is a community. There are people who have been with us since 2016. So we can make that arrangement for you to stagger it a bit and then spread out the commitment in terms of the learning. So that can be arranged.
Okay, and for the Power BI, if you don't have the experience in Excel basics, will you be able to take the other two?
Okay, so as I mentioned, we'll pretend we didn't do season 5. Even though season 5 gave us the foundation, we are going to start from a blank Power BI canvas. Okay, the tools are similar. Power Query in Excel, Power Query sits in Power BI, data model, DAX, and all that. But we'll start from zero. People learn Power BI from zero, no knowledge. And that is the approach we are going to use. Okay, so you are in comfortable hands.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Ken, are you ready with your question?
Yeah, I think, okay, I put it in the Q&A, but let me. So good morning, everyone. My name is Kennedy Kwame Kuma. I work with Wilma Africa. This is my first time on such a workshop or a session. I was introduced by Shamo Benedict just last week. So my question was to find out if this season is the same as last season, because I learned a lot of the previous, or the alumni are still joining this. So I just wanted to know if topics being treated now are the same thing that was treated previously. And then also if there are any payment terms, since it's such a short notice, but I would like to join. So maybe know how the payment can be spread, and then I'll make payment.
Okay. So every season we introduce something new while holding on to some fundamental topics. So in fact, in all the 5 seasons, we've had Excel for work because we feel Excel for work is critical. Okay. But while we anchor Excel for work, we also vary the other modules to give those who have been with us something new to learn. Okay. So Excel for work is not going to change. We'll always start from a blank sheet in Excel. Okay. Last season, we introduced Excel Business Intelligence. So we did a bit more of what you see here with Excel. This season is Power BI. In the financial modeling module, the new thing we are introducing is PowerPoint presentation and financial analysis. So it's a blend. It's a blend to give old members something to learn, a new thing to learn, and then to also give new members a 0.0 to start with us. However, those who are doing the financial modeling program, one thing we are adding is that we'll give you access to last season's class. Okay, so aside what you are signing on for in season 6, we'll give you access to season 5's class so that you can prepare for the FMI exam with that while you add this. Okay, so it's a blend. Ken, I'm not sure if I answered the question.
Yeah, I think it answers it.
Okay, on the payment plan, as I said, we have 2 options to help people who want to pay one time. We give you a further 20% discount. But if you want to spread it, we kindly request that you make at least half as commitment.
Yeah.
And then the following month, you can finish it off. So those are the options that we have.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Ben,
Yes, Dean.
just before you take the next question, I think you should just speak to the software.
Okay, software as in the tool we are going to use.
Yes, whether they have to buy it, whether it's available for free, you know.
Okay. So Excel is all over the place. We encourage participants to have at least 2013. There's a reason. A lot has changed since in the last 5 years. So if you have 2013 plus Excel, it will be good. In fact, if you have the latest version, which we encourage most people to have, the Office 365, it will even be better. But not everybody can be on that subscription. So anything 2013 onwards is fine. Power BI desktop is available for free. So in fact, next week, we are going to learn how to download it. It needs a work email. So if you have at Finder Skills or at your company, you can sign up for that. If you don't, you can use an Outlook to download it, an Outlook email to download it. We'll go through all those things next week. So for the tools that you need, you don't have to buy them. Well, Excel, you probably have to buy the original one. It's not really expensive. You can talk to us. We'll give you sources to get a licensed one. And then the Power BI effectively is free, the Power BI desktop, okay? But if you want to upgrade, you can go to Enterprise and all that. That one is when you have mastered the fundamentals. You can convince your organization to sign up for the upgrades.
Thank you, Bernard. Ernest, can you take the next question? It's about the financial modeling. So Helen is asking if, like, how much does she need to know in terms of terminologies, you know, or in terms of accounting or finance to be able to take the financial modeling course? Because I think it's she has a background in IT.
Okay, so you need basic knowledge, right? And we believe the basic knowledge should be able, but just in case you don't have, we will also give you access to preview the financial modeling class that we have, where we did extensive work on the accounting, you know, and the interplay of the financial statement, you know, to give you that kind of solid foundation for you to be able to come along with us. But that said, we will still treat some aspects of the accounting and finance bit, you know, to level up a little bit, because even though some of us still have accounting and finance, they are in varying degrees. We attended different universities, we had different qualifications. So we will level up a little bit. But for those who don't have at all, we encourage them to watch the season 5 intro section, where we did extensive works there, so that you can you know, come along with us. What the financial modeling actually promises is that kind of, you know, interactivity and networking, where even where you don't and you still have interest, you can reach out on one-on-one basis, and we still be able, yes, and I think that's what Ben is showing at the moment, where we have a lot of resources available, plus what we are going to do now. So it only thrives on interest. If you have interest, the resources are there, and you'll be able to flow with us.
Ernest, thank you. Kennedy, your hand is still raised. If it's from the previous question, kindly lower your hand. If not, you can keep it raised. But Infinix S5 Lite, kindly introduce yourself and ask your question. Okay, he's lowered his hand. There's another hand raised, Kels. Please introduce yourself and ask your question as well.
Yeah. Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is William. I currently work with First National Bank, Ghana. I wanted to find out, I think Ben did mention of the, I think, an early bird promo. So I wanted to find out firstly, if with that, after, because I'm signing up for all courses, so even if after paying for all those courses, do you mean a further slash in the 2,500? Is that what it meant? And I also want to emphasize the excitement I have with regarding joining this. I'm already super excited, and I'm really looking forward to working with you guys. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, William. So the first question is whether the payment, the promo, is exclusive of the 2,500. Yes. So there are two levels. If you bundle all three, you already take off 500. So you are paying 2,500. If you pay before the end of the month, another 20% goes off. So that brings you to 2,000. Okay. If you join our community, you realize that it will get to a point in time you'll not even be paying for anything, because there's also something called loyalty discounts. Those who have been with us, we so appreciate you. Eric, Uncle, Yvonne. These people refer us to people, bring on new people. So as a reward, we also give further discounts for loyalty. And there's also referral discount. Okay, so there's a lot to help you in the finances. But for those who are joining, the bundle and then the 20% early bird discount, which is almost like 1,000, is what you have.
Thank you. William, I hope that answered your question. Infinite S, you're back. Kindly introduce yourself and ask the question.
There's a slight break in your audio.
Sorry. So is this smooth now?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So I was saying that Infinix S5 Lite, you're back now. Kindly unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and ask your question.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
My name is Kwesida. I work with a regulator, but I was part of is it 364 or so, and I dropped out somewhere along the line because of work. I put up a question saying that for some of us we've been away from the house, so we are rusty. Some of the terminologies that were going up, and maybe as the class goes on, you may have to slow down a bit for us to be able to catch up. Quite a number of my questions were answered in the presentation that Ben did in terms of the software that we need, because I have a 2013 Excel, so I guess that question is answered. What else do I want to talk about? And then the financial modeling. For those of us who would want to sign up to take the exam, what would be the process we have to go through so that we get registered, and then when the next year exam get close, we can be part of it. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll add this to a question I just read from the Q&A regarding certification. So we will give you certificates from Finance Skills Hub that you've participated here and you've learned these modules. But beyond that, we are approved training providers of the Financial Modeling Institute, fminstitute.com. They are the global examination body in financial modeling. We are currently the only training providers for them in Ghana. If you want that global certification, you will need to sit for that exam. It's in April and October. So we use the body of knowledge to teach the financial modeling. So while you go to the financial modeling, you're already preparing for the exam. But if you choose to sit for the exam, we'll give you further support in terms of mock, mentorship programs and all that. We have a very good success rate with the FMI. So if you want that certification, then you need to put in that extra effort to sit the exam in April and October. So that's on the certification. In the future, we are working hard to get Microsoft on board so that even with the other programs, Excel for Work and Power BI, people who want to also transition and then get some of the global certification can also connect, just like the Financial Modeling Institute. It's something that we are really working on. So that is the part on the certification.
Okay, Bernard, thank you. Before we take the next question, I think that's the last question from Matthew. There's a question in the chat. Ernest, I'll throw this to you. Someone just want to be sure how much of FRS will be using, the financial reporting standards in the financial modeling.
Okay, thank you. So to be honest, we are not, we may be applying them, but we are not going to use them as in you need to know IFRS 1, IFRS 2, IAS 1, IAS 2. No, we are not even going to mention it at all in the class, right? We know you have that skill from maybe SEMA, ACCA, ICA, and England and Wales, it's fine. We want to give the other bit, the hands-on, the practicality of it, right? The application of it. So we won't even mention it at all. I'm not sure I've even mentioned International Financial Reporting Standards in any of the sessions. We are not. Yeah. We are going to approach it from a layman's point of view, and more so from someone who owns a business, entrepreneur, who doesn't really need to know what the standard says, but the application of it, right, and how we flow. So that is what we are going to do. We know we have a lot of CAs amongst us, and as much as possible, we even try not to make them ask questions which can feel intimidating. So as much as possible, we want to come to the level of everybody where we appreciate accounting for what it is. And then at the other side, if we meet at the CA level, we can speak on that level as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest. Just to add to that quickly before we take the last question, really season 6 in terms of financial modeling or analysis is going to be really, really practical. Like he said, it's more like an entrepreneurial perspective. So you want to invest in a business, what are some of the things? So we are not really into the numbers, the technical. We want to understand the meaning, like what does it mean when you have this number and it's growing like this and it looks like that, So you shouldn't worry too much about, you just need the basis of accounting to understand how these three statements relate to each other. The rest is going to be a lot of engagement. So yeah, you are in good company. Okay, Ben, there's a last question it looks like from Matthew. So Matthew, kindly unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Hello.
Hi, Matthew.
Okay, all right, thank you. So my question has to, hello, please can you hear me?
We can hear you, Matthew.
Yes, Matthew, we can hear you.
All right, so my question has to do with how you guys are going to ensure that people who go through this get some level of understanding or knowledge. Like, how are you going to be maybe getting feedback as to what we have learned, how far, because it's very important that those who are enrolling also pick up something, not just going through the motions. I don't know if you get my question.
Yes, so Matthew, last season, we introduced a mentorship program. There are 6 of us, and averagely we have about 40 to 50 people signing up every season. To make the learning more effective, we had a pool for each facilitator. So beyond this, your mentor will put you into smaller groups. Make sure you do your assignments. If you have any questions, you can put it directly to him or her. Priscilla is here. And they will offer you that guidance at that level. Beyond that level, you also have the larger body to also provide some feedback. So we are not just interested in just the screen work and then just going through the motions, as you've said, but you realize that beyond Saturday, in fact, between Sunday and Friday, a lot happens in between. Our WhatsApp group is very, very active. So the mentorship program, the classroom, assignments, and all that are ways to ensure that we bring everybody along. And one key thing that I want to throw in is we expect members to endure. It's very important. You see, learning any subject is not easy. And our old members will tell you. So all the things you are seeing is not something that came in a day or two. It comes by practice. So while we provide all the feedback and the support, we also expect members to prioritize this. You've put in money, you've put in resources, okay? Please, let this be at least in the top 3 things in the next 14 Saturdays in order to get some value from this. So we are game. We'll provide all the resources, we'll provide all the support, but please meet us halfway. So together we can achieve this value that we've signed up for.
And Ben, a quick one to add. I think in the classroom, we are able to tell who is submitting assignments, before deadline, after deadline, on time, who is being engaged, So that one, we have even empirical data to support. So if you are not pulling your weight, you yourself, it will show in the statistics in the Google Classroom that you are not submitting assignments, you are not even asking questions, you are not doing all of that. We'll do our best to reach you because we'll group, we'll regroup. But then beyond that, I think the burden should be on you. Like I said, we'll meet you halfway and we are committed to that. It's up to you to also meet us halfway, along the journey so that the learning, can take place. And that's why we have staggered our learning. We don't want to do a week session, 3-day session, and we are done. No, we want you to have a lot of space to practice and, imbibe the knowledge and work along. And we also encourage that you come along with us for some time and then you appreciate the knowledge. But if it's just about being fascinated about what you are seeing in a day or two, today, next week, we give you assignments, that one lags, the following week, give you assignment, it lags, becomes a burden. Right? So as much as possible, we'll give assignment, we'll give you the time to submit. And when you don't, the tracker on the Google Classroom will let you know, will alert you that your assignment is due, you haven't submitted, and hasn't been reviewed and all of that. So you are sure of that support as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest. Thank you, Bernard. So in the absence of any further questions, Ben, I think I'll hand over to you for your final words, and then we can get this started next week.
Sure. So thank you all. We had peak time, over 50 people joining us this morning. This was a preview class to help you make the decision on whether you want to go with us or not. So in fact, when we throw the invitation, we believe in what we sell, and that is why we encourage people to join us and make the decision after. So next week, we'll start a real class. If you want to go with us, please reach out to me. We can make an arrangement. Your payment, if you make it one time, you get 20% off. We can also discuss an installment plan. After you fill the form, and then we would add you to our WhatsApp group where you can pick up updates. So as I said, for those who have committed, this week, I'll be sending codes for you to join your various classrooms. So please comply with those instructions so that you can have a very smooth sale, okay? And then we want to also apologize to those who probably didn't get the communication right. A gentleman is currently at BAM Library, and it appears he missed the part that we were going to be online. Those who didn't get the Zoom on time, it's all part of the learning. So we'll correct it as we go. So this is also to acknowledge Mr. Ferdinand Atobra. Ferdinand is a very active member. In fact, he's the Excel guy. He's the technical man of this team. But he's been strong today because he lost his father some 2 days ago. Ferdy, our condolences. And today also happens to be his birthday. So happy birthday. It's a blended experience, but keep going. Okay, yes. So guys, thank you so much. We'll have to end this now. If you have any questions, let's discuss. Let's put it on our WhatsApp group, and then we'll be here to support you. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't like you wasting this thing. I'll buy you again. I'm putting it on. Is this one? Is it for body or for Abby? I don't know. Oh, come on.
Since we have some family meeting at Mr. Konu's in there.